Hi, I'm Andre. My topic today is driver's licenses. Driving is one of the most dangerous things we do in our everyday life. According to the Association for Safe International Road Travel, nearly 1.3 million people die in road crashes every year. Traffic collisions rank as the 9th leading cause of death and account for 2.2% of all deaths globally. In addition to all of the deaths, another 20 to 50 million people are injured or disabled. My claim today is the ease of obtaining a U.S. driver's license leads to higher traffic collision rates. My first point is countries with more involved driver's training have less traffic collisions than countries without them. Finland is known to be a country that produces good drivers, and there is a good reason for that. Their driving test includes time on a skid pad, which is a circular road that is covered in water and used to train drivers when traction is lost. Finland also requires 19 theory lessons and at least 18 hours of practical driving on city roads. According to the World Health Organization, Finland has a vehicular fatality rate of 4.8 people per 100,000 people, compared to the U.S.'s death rate of 10.8 people per 100,000 people. Therefore, Finland has less car collisions per capita. On the other hand, a country with more lenient requirements for driving licenses, such as Thailand, has a death rate of 36.2 people per 100,000, since their driving test only requires a person to drive forwards and backwards and to park in 2 different ways. Their death rate is almost quadruple that of the U.S. My second thing is that mandatory tests about vehicle maintenance will help prevent traffic collisions. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Association, accidents caused by poor vehicle conditions accounted for 6.8% of car accidents in 2011. Germany, which has mandatory vehicle inspection, has seen a decrease of 58.9% to 14.7% of unroadworthy vehicles on the road from the inception of the inspection until its 50th anniversary in 2001. My third claim is lax driver's license requirements allow more distracted driving to occur, which results in more car crashes. Driver's ed programs only cover the necessary information to pass the driving test. It does not go over everything about driving. Of 5 sample tests taken from the California DMV website, there was not a single question regarding using electronics, such as phones, GPS devices, and music devices while driving. Modern technology has made drivers more complacent with diverting their attention from the road. Newer cars have many safety features, such as blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, and lane departure warnings. Combined with phones, these are a very large distraction for the modern driver. The California Driver Handbook only mention of anything regarding mobile devices was a few sentences on how the device must be mounted in the car to comply with the new laws that were passed. There is no mention of the dangers of being distracted with a phone, or the fact that there are around 400,000 car collisions every year due to distracted driving, 3,500 of which are fatal. The U.S. needs to increase the requirements for a driver's license in order to decrease traffic collisions and fatalities. This concludes my speech.
All right, Andre, the claim is pretty clearly identified, so that's fine. I like the lead in when you have the information about the number of accidents. That's a good context to set up the argument. The preview, you only preview one particular point, and the truth is that you dive right in with your proof on Finland on it. So it's not really a preview, it actually is the start of the speech. So there's not a preview of the supporting structure. However, you do identify a supporting structure while you are presenting your arguments. I wasn't exactly sure what the first point was, it rushed by. I just know that it has something to do with Finland and how great they are. So I think you need to be a little bit more patient in making the claim and explaining what it is the inference is. One of the things that happens, I think, in a lot of presentations is that people focus on the evidence and think that we'll figure out what the inference is. You want to tell us what the inference is that we should be drawing from the evidence and not try to let the evidence make the argument for you. I did think that you had a lot of evidence in your argument, and most of it is cited pretty effectively. There's some excellent statistical information doing comparisons of different places and their driver's license, or not their driver's license, but their requirements in order to drive. The linking to the driver's license, I'm not sure is quite as sure as you've got. In fact, it seems like when you get to that last point, that it got less to do with the driver's license and more to do with the technology that causes these problems. You seem to be suggesting that additional training for driver's licenses would fix that. I'm not sure how true that is, and it's a presupposition of your argument that needs a lot better evidence. I thought the end was a little bit abrupt, and you do kind of finish with a pseudo-policy claim. You managed to keep it on a need argument rather than making it a policy claim. But the idea, I think you could come back to, just say, it's pretty obvious that our driver's license requirements are too lax, and that would be more consistent with what you started with. All right, thank you.